What's going on, swim fans? In today's video, I'm gonna share with you how to do a proper meet warm-up. Now, I'm so excited about this video specifically because it is one of the most frequently asked questions. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you 5 basic steps to be prepared for a swimming competition, a swimming race, or heck, maybe you have a time trial at your swim workout, or you just wanna test yourself to see how fast you can swim if you train on your own. In this video, I'm gonna walk through those 5 steps, and I'm also gonna share a very specific meet warm-up for 2 different events. I'm gonna walk you through them, the 50 freestyle and the 400 IM, and you can adapt in these different models to different strokes. So if you wanna swim the 200 breaststroke, or the 400 freestyle, or the 100 freestyle, whatever it is, these will serve as a fantastic template. So make sure you watch this video until the very end, and make sure you let me know down below in the comments which type of events that you race for, that you're curious about how to do a proper meet warm-up. Now, if you guys are new here, welcome to my Swim Pro. My name is Faris Sabeti, and I'm gonna share the latest and greatest to help you take your swimming to the next level. So if you wanna swim faster and smarter than ever before, you have come to the right place. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, and again, let me know down below in the comments what type of meet warm-up you're looking for guidance, and we'll do it for you. We'll help you out. Let's go over these 5 steps first. So the first one is dynamic stretching. And again, these are in no particular order. You should really do all of them, but do it in the order that makes sense for you. So number 1 we're gonna talk about is dynamic stretching. And really the goal of this is to increase your blood flow. This happens before you even get in the water. So if you're trying to perform, whether you're trying to perform in an individual swimming race, or you're trying to perform in any type of athletic feat or doing any type of workout, you need to do a dynamic stretch. And that means doing dynamic hamstring stretch, getting your heart rate up, jumping around, not holding a particular stretch, swinging your arms. You'll see swimmers often swing and do dynamic tricep extensions. So basically you're getting the blood flowing, you're activating the central nervous system, and this also helps reduce your chances of injury. So it's really important you do some kind of arm swings, jumping around, not overly exerting yourself, of course, because you want to save your energy for the actual warm-up and the race itself, but get the blood flowing. That's number 1. Number 2 is to do some type of a generic swim. So oftentimes, if you go to a competition, or if you have the opportunity to do a time trial in your own workout facility or on your team, you might do 2 warm-ups. You might have a more generic open warm-up, then you have a more specific warm-up. So number 1 is doing an easy swim, and we'll go over this when we talk about the difference between general and race specific, but basically this is a general warm-up. Your goal is to develop a feel of the water, just to get connected, right? When you first get in the pool, you're not gonna be able to go your best time because you need to do a little bit of muscle activation, and that's what part 2 is. Doing an easy swim, get the heart rate elevated, basically continuation of your dynamic stretching. And then number 3 is doing an event-specific warm-up. So this can be done immediately after your generic warm-up, or if you have a bigger competition, you might do a initial warm-up, take a break for 30, 40, 50 minutes, or heck 2 hours, and then you do another race-specific warm-up only 30 to 50 minutes before your actual event, your actual race. And this one you're focusing on race pace, you're focusing on tempo, very specific on the details of the actual event you're trying to perform on. So again, we'll talk about the 50 freestyle and the 400 IM in just a little bit, really focusing on race specific. Now, the 4th step in all of this is focusing on your nutrition and hydration. Now, I always say nutrition and hydration is something that you do all the time. It's not really specific to an event, but you can fine-tune your hydration plan and your nutrition when you know you have to perform, right? And it's important to stay hydrated before, during, and after a workout and a competition. And it's really important to make sure that you're fueling your body with the right stuff to get you to where you want to be. And that's why I'm so excited to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Rise Brewing. Let me tell you about Rise Brewing, because some people just enjoy drinking coffee before a meet for an extra boost of energy. Rise Brewing Company's organic nitro cold brew coffee is a great option to toss into your swim bag. So big shout out to Rise for sponsoring the video. Their coffee is made with simple ingredients, no harmful chemicals, and it's low sugar. You can choose from plain nitro cold brew, oat milk lattes and mochas, and if you don't drink coffee, their Earl Grey Grey tea latte is really, really good. They also have a few flavors of oat milk, so make sure you check all of them out. If you go down below in the description of this video, you're gonna get a 10% off discount to your order. Make sure you use that link, and you can save even more if you sign up for a subscription, so you never run out of your favorite coffee. Thank you again to Rise Brewing for sponsoring this video, and let me know down below in the comments if you guys drink coffee, and if you have any questions about Rise Brewing, we'd love to answer them down below in the comments. So it's really important to have a good nutrition and hydration plan, being consistent with what you're doing there. And then the fifth is mental preparation. This is actually my favorite, to be honest, because when you're thinking about mental prep, it comes down to not only visualizing yourself succeeding in the race that you're about to do, you know, how many strokes you're gonna take, you know, not taking a breath or taking one breath in the 50 free, whatever it is, but also having positive self-talk. You know, sometimes the anxiety of the race and social media, it can get to you, and the ability to just clear your mind, not worry about that, and have the positive self-talk and the confidence that you put in the hard work and now it's time to perform. You know, if you haven't checked out my new book, Swim Like a Pro, I have a whole chapter dedicated to mental training and having a growth mindset and just how important all of those different things are. So make sure you check out my book. I talk about different technique and all those different things for all the strokes in addition to mental training. Now, we've gone over the 5 steps. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, the 2 different warm-ups that I have for a competition. You guys are gonna love this. Again, let me know down below in the comments what events that we should do more videos and content on. 50 freestyle. So I mentioned there are 2 parts to the warm-up. There's the generic warm-up, the general warm-up, and then race specific. Now, if you only have the opportunity to warm up at one segment, run time before your race, you're gonna do one and then the other. If you have the opportunity to sort of break your warm-up up, where you have like the generic warm-up a few hours before the actual event, and then you can get into a warm-up pool like 1 hour or 30 minutes before your actual event, that's when you do the race-specific part only. And so you wouldn't do both of these 2 times, right? That's more than you need. Another thing before we get into this is make sure you understand how these numbers relate to what you're used to training. So I wrote some pretty generic warm-up and process flow here, but if you're a more advanced swimmer and you're used to training a lot more, you might actually need to do more than this. If you're a master swimmer or you're more beginner and you don't normally swim that much in the first place, you know, these actually might be a lot. So you got to modify. And of course, at the end of the season, you'll taper and you'll probably do even less than this. So let's get into it. So first thing you're gonna do is a 200 freestyle. Again, that's part of the generic warm-up. Get a feel of the water, get the heart rate up. After a 200 freestyle, we're gonna do 4 50s backstroke down, freestyle back. If it's a long course pool, just switch halfway. And the idea here is to open up your shoulders, get a little bit of stroke variety, different feel of the water. Hopefully you're used to doing some kind of backstroke in your training, so that shouldn't feel too weird. Then you're gonna warm up your legs with 4 25s kick, and then you're gonna do 2 50s, drill down, swim back. Maybe you wanna do 4 25s all drill. Maybe you have specific drills that you like to work on to really get your body warmed up, whether it's 3 strokes, 6 kicks, or single arm freestyle. Whatever you need to do, make sure you do that to get the body really, really warmed up in a general sense. If you notice, we didn't do any speed work. You know, maybe you can throw in a little bit of speed work there, but that's really gonna come in on the second part of the workout, or the second part of the warm-up. So if you're gonna go right into it, that's cool. If you're gonna hop out, take a break, that's good. This was a 500-yard segment, or 500-meter segment, and the second part is only 350 meters. Together, it's an 850-meter warm-up. So let's talk about this second part, which is race specific. When we're talking about race specific, we're gonna go with a 100 freestyle, sort of like re-warming up again, but just to kind of get the blood flowing again. 100 warm-up. You should feel pretty fast, but you gotta control your energy because you've already warmed up a little bit, so you don't need to do as much. So only 100 compared to a 200. Then we're gonna do 4 25s. This is where the speed comes in. On the odds, we're gonna build on the way down, and then on the evens, we're gonna have a fast breakout. You can do this in 50s, just break it up differently. And then after that, we're gonna go 2 25s, focusing on power. So they're not all out sprints, we don't wanna blow our energy. Instead, we're gonna focus on swimming with good technique, applying power. Maybe there's a fast breakout thrown in there. We're focusing on breath control. Maybe you have a need to really expand your lungs. This is where you would do that, but you wouldn't go all out sprint. You're focusing on breath control and expanding your lung capacity here. After that, a couple more fast breakouts. Maybe this is where you can go off of a racing block. If you don't have the opportunity to do that and you want a racing start, you would have to squeeze that in at the end of a first warm-up, but it's great to always get in a quick start or a fast breakout. And then after you've got the speed going, it's time to rest. So do a 50 freestyle perfect and you're good to go. So that's a total of 850 meters. Again, you might need to do a little bit more, might need a little bit less. And at the end of the season, if you're tapering for an event, you might do even less than this. So a couple things to think about there. Let's go ahead and talk about the 400 IM. And it'll be really interesting to see how the 400 IM compares with the 50 freestyle. So again, two parts, general and race specific. Now for the general, we're going to start out with a 400 freestyle. If you notice, the 50 only started with a 200. And again, could be more, could be less. Then we're going to go 4 100s where you alternate backstroke and freestyle. We really need to just get the body aerobically warmed up, aerobically conditioned here in this warm up, because a 400 IM is a longer event. So you got to do a little bit more. If you notice, we did 4 50s. Now we're doing 4 100s for the 400 IM. Then we're going to do 4 50s kick. Got to warm up the legs. Maybe you don't do full 50s kick, you do kick swim. Either way, you're doing about double what you did in the 50. And then we're going to do 4 50s IM, drill down, swim back. You're going to alternate the different strokes. You're going to warm up everything. Then you do 4 50s IM, freestyle. So you're going to do 2 versions of that. You can do a 50 where you go butterfly, backstroke, backstroke, breaststroke, and then repeat. Or you can go the stroke down, freestyle back. So that would be fly free, back free, breast free, free, free. And then you're going to do a 100 freestyle. You can add a little bit of power on those 25s of the IM stroke just to get the heart rate up. But if you notice, not a lot of speed, not a lot of pace work, just doing some more aerobic, generic swimming. And that's a total of 1,500 meters. So almost a full mile just in the generic warm-up. Then again, if you can warm up in 2 rounds, you're going to go to a more race-specific warm-up, which is a total of 850 meters. This is where we apply the power, apply the speed, and really focus in on the strokes and the elements of the 400 IM. The way we're going to do that is we're going to start out with an easy 200 freestyle. Remember, we started with a 400 freestyle on the first warm-up. This is about half of that because your body's already warmed up. Then you're going to go 4 50s IM, drill down, swim back. You can do those in 25s, but basically you're trying to reactivate the different strokes. Then I recommend going 4 25s IM, swimming them with power. So this is really where you're starting to apply a little bit more speed. You're not killing yourself, but you're definitely putting some power to these. Then you want to go a 50 pace. This could be a 50 fly. It could be a 50 of one of the strokes that you're really focusing on, like breaststroke, or maybe even closing speed with freestyle. You can break it up into 25s. You can do several 50s of pace if you feel like you need a little bit more power and spike your heart rate a little bit. I recommend only 1 or even doing 25s. Then you're going to go 4 50s, descend. Now these can be freestyle, really, cranking speed, getting that going. They could be IM order, they could be IM free, whatever you want to do. But the goal here is to descend to something fast, and these should be kind of on a tight interval. So your heart rate, this should feel pretty hard, and you really want to get your body in that rhythm of pushing itself. I would recommend, actually, now that I go through it, maybe you throw in a few 25s at the end where you have a lot more rest and you want to feel really, really clean. I know it's difficult in a meet warm-up pool where there's like a ton of people all over the place, but if you can get in, maybe 1 or 2 25s of fly or back or whatever stroke you're working on, and really just have a perfect stroke, that'll go a long way. Finally, we're going to close it out with a 100 freestyle or maybe a 50, 2 50s. You should feel really good. And that is going to get you warmed up for the 400 IM. If you notice, that's a 2,350 meter warm up compared to the 50 freestyle where we only did 850 total across both the generic and the race specific. So as you can see, really depends on the race that you're doing, how the warm up should differ, but all of these have the same elements of freestyle, stroke work, drill, kick, and of course some speed, because you want to get your body ready to race fast. So if you guys want more workouts like this, make sure you download the MySwimPro app, get a personalized training program, see how the workouts are actually structured from the warm-up, the preset, the main set, and the cool down. A lot of sets have a post-main set and different things and notes in there so that way you can understand why workouts are structured in a certain way. Again, in the comments of this video, let me know what other events that you'd like to see me do an in-depth breakdown of what a good meet warm-up would be. And of course, remember that this is really based on what your current training is and what part of the season that you're at. So not only is it dependent on the event that you're racing, but also your current level of training and your ability to go through these 5 different steps beforehand, like the dynamic warm-up that happens out of the water, doing that generic swim, event specific, focus on nutrition, and of course, mental prep is something that you focus on all the time. Again, follow the MySwimPro app for more workouts, and I wanna see you guys in the MySwimPro Facebook group. We have over 10,000 swimmers in there. I hope to see you guys in there. Share your goals, encourage each other, use the hashtag MySwimPro on social media. Wish you guys the very best. I'll see you in the next video, and happy swimming.